Welcome into Table Talk. I'm Brian Kell. Since 1902, 4-H has been engaging youth to reach their fullest potential while advancing the field of youth development. And so what all is going on locally, statewide, and even nationally with 4-H? Well, I'm glad you asked that question because we've got some ladies here that hope to help us walk away with better heads, hearts, hands, and health. Welcome to Table Talk, ladies. And we should introduce everybody here real quick. Emily Pennington. She is the Tennessee 4-H State Council Secretary, got that right, and she's a graduate of Warren County High School. Also, we've got a rising junior, and Claire Brooks, who is the Tennessee 4-H Congressional or Congress Speaker of the Senate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got that part right. And then her sister, Caroline Brooks, who's a graduate this past year of Warren County High School, the Tennessee 4-H State Council Vice President. Ladies, welcome to Table Talk.
Thank you for having us.
So you can tell by the green jackets, we're not going to be talking about the Masters. We're going to be talking actually about 4-H. And we met these ladies once before, about 2 weeks ago, at our what used to be now known as the Tennessee Telecommunications Association meeting, but now as the Tennessee Broadband Association meeting. We had kind of unveiled that, and these ladies were there a part of that, representing 4-H, because we now have the kind of a relationship now between the TBA and between 4-H. So I have to ask you guys, leading off, because we saw you there representing 4-H statewide. Start with you, Emily. How was that experience in Nashville?
Yes, it was a really cool experience because a lot of the people weren't familiar with 4-H at this conference, so it was a great opportunity to kind of let them know what 4-H is and how we relate to their sponsorship. So it was really cool to just be able to give them a better understanding of what they are supporting.
So Claire, one of the big highlights I'm sure for you all was getting to meet the governor. He came in and was able to talk a little bit to us, and in fact in his speech actually singled you all out. That had to be a real highlight.
Yes, sir, it really was. I've met the governor before, but to see him again was really, really cool.
And as far as Caroline, for the governor to take a moment out of his speech to the TBA and really single out 4-H, that 4-H is pretty important to him, I know, yes, and he made that very apparent to everybody in the room. I guess to have that from the highest office in the state to be shouting your all's praises, that's big praise.
Yes, it's such an amazing feeling to know, like you said, the highest office in the state supports us so much. He was a 4-H alumni himself, and he actually spoke at one of our conferences, Congress, and it was so cool. He walked in and he said to us, he like stared at us for a little while, and he said, "I remember coming to my first Congress and listening to the governor speak, and now I'm the governor speaking at 4-H Congress." And so that's such a heartwarming experience.
So Emily, you talked about some of the things that y'all were able to talk about to folks that probably even like me that don't know a lot about what goes on at 4-H, but that platform that y'all had at the TBA, talk about some of those conversations and what were you able to help people better understand about 4-H?
I think that a lot of things that people don't understand is the competition aspect of 4-H. I'm very active in the communications and public speaking part of 4-H, and so this was something that I was able to relate back since it was the telecommunications, and so a lot of it's, you know, TV and things like this that we're doing right now. So I enjoyed conversations, you know, telling them I get to compete in public speaking contests, I get to compete in interviews, I get to go across the state of Tennessee and speak to, you know, Farm Bureau conferences and things like that. And so those were really interesting conversations to have because a lot of those adults didn't realize that youth our age are going out and expressing our communications and public speaking knowledge.
So I'll use that as a platform, Claire, to kind of get to you, and we'll come back around to Emily too. We'll kind of go around the table. She talked about some of the things, just some of the things that she's gotten to do. Tell us about what got you into 4-H and what is keeping you involved in 4-H. What is it about 4-H with Claire Brooks?
Well, actually, my sister Caroline is the one that got me involved with 4-H in the 4th grade. And since then, I've been hooked. I've been wanting to keep pursuing 4-H because it teaches service and it teaches people skills that you would not learn otherwise if you were not in 4-H, such as public speaking or interviews and just leadership skills and citizenship skills that you would not learn without 4-H.
Caroline, you?
So I also started 4-H in the 4th grade. I was extremely shy at the time. Like, I would have never done anything like this, to be honest. And I actually got into public speaking competitions with Emily. We were like our biggest competitors. But I know just like it helped me get out of my shell, and it's allowed me to meet people and connect with people that make me a better person and make me push myself to reach my goals. I say all the time that 4-H redefines my comfort zone. It constantly makes it bigger and bigger, and I've seen that all the way through the 9 years I've been in 4-H.
Emily?
So my mother was actually involved in 4-H
Sure.
whenever she was in high school. So my whole life I was just, my mom's like, 3 more years till you can do 4-H, 2 more years till you can do 4-H. And so I was always kind of had this in my mind, like, I don't know if it's going to be for me. Like my mom did it, so like I have to do it. But that definitely changed, and I think that something that really keeps me involved in 4-H, along with the competition, is the friendships I've made. Like Caroline said, since the 4th grade, we've been fighting for that, like first place win. But eventually, it gets to the place where it's not a first place win. It's, you're cheering on your best friend because they've, got vice president. And while you may not have got the position that you were originally running for, it's so exciting to just see them, step out of their comfort zone and get something that you're so excited for them to get. So that's something that's really important to me, is just the friendships I've made from not only Tennessee, but from all across the, country, because of all the amazing opportunities that 4-H has to offer.
Claire, you've got maybe a young mom, or you've got a grandparent that might be watching this, and I heard you guys talk about, 4th grade, that was kind of a big, to be able to step in to do that. What, your all's motto is make the best better.
Yes, sir.
Right? Did I get that right? Okay, make sure. Like, should be better best. Okay. So yeah, make the best better. Talk about just what a difference that has made in your life.
Well, to make the best better really is a 4-H motto, because they will take people like us who are already doing well in school and going out of our comfort zones, but they will take us and they will push us to the next step, make the best better. They will take service projects that are already thriving on their own, but they will take it to the next step, and that really makes the best better.
Okay. Well, but as we wrap up this first segment with you guys here in just a bit, I want to talk about, 4-H is not just locally, it's not just statewide, it's even nationally. So I'm going to kind of hit some different points with each of you all. We'll start with Caroline first. Tell us about, from a national perspective, you found yourself in some of those scenarios over your time with 4-H. Nationally with 4-H, what's going on and what's happening?
So 4-H nationally and statewide and even locally, they're very different programs, but I mean they're all one program. Nationally, I have been involved in the Healthy Living Summit. They host a Healthy Living Summit in Washington, D.C. every year in February. It's a really cool opportunity because you get to go to obviously Washington, D.C. and tour, but it also teaches you things that you can bring back to your own state. And it's also so amazing to connect with 4-Hers from different states. That's one of my favorite things about doing national 4-H activities, is getting to learn about different states' programs, because the program in Georgia or Kentucky or even the Virgin Islands, we're going to be going to the Virgin Islands in July, that we all have very different programs, but we all have the same goals and the same aspirations. I've also been to National 4-H Congress, and that's in Atlanta, Georgia, and there are so many amazing opportunities there to connect with people and stuff like that. I had a lot of cool experiences there, such as I got to have Sunday brunch at the Ritz-Carlton in Atlanta and stay at a really nice hotel, and stuff that you wouldn't be able to do every day or in any other program. It's a really cool experience and a very cool opportunity.
So we're kind of working our way down to the statewide side. Emily, I know you found yourself involved in that. Talk about 4-H from a statewide perspective.
Yes, so statewide really begins in the 6th grade whenever you have the opportunity to go to academic conference. And me and Caroline went to academic conference together, and then Claire a few years later. And I think that I speak for all of us when I say that's really when we were hooked. Like when you get to go for the first time and see people from all over the state of Tennessee, you get to pick your focus that you really want to focus on for the week. So I did consumer decision making my first year. And so just things that you really, want to get involved in, and you get to go to Dollywood one day. So that's definitely a plus. And so I think that's really when you get hooked. And then in high school, usually your first statewide experience is 4-H Congress. And to me, that's probably my favorite event that I've been in throughout all of 4-H. Like Claire, I was Speaker of the Senate. And that's just such a cool opportunity because it's Congress. You get to go downtown one day and you get to go to the Senate or the House chambers and run an actual Senate session with your 4-Hers. And so that's such a cool opportunity. This year they got to hear the governor speak. And so that's just like getting involved in your government, because I think that's something that's so important to today's youth, is to know what's going on in the government. And a lot of those kids, if they didn't have that opportunity, they probably would not know who the governor was. They wouldn't know who the Speaker of the Senate was. They wouldn't know who the Speaker of the House was. So I think that's just such a cool opportunity. And it's also your first statewide event that you've had to kind of compete to get into. You had to compete middle school, but it was a little less hard of a competition. And then you go to the state roundup, which is what the TBA is kind of partnering with us this year. And that's when you do your project competitions. So project competitions, you do an interview, and then you also have a portfolio that you've submitted. So we were talking earlier about Caroline's portfolio won last year, so it was just me and Claire this year. And we just found out like yesterday that our portfolios won, so we get to go compete in July. And so it's a really cool opportunity. We get to stay at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville's campus and learn about the campus during the week. We get to do project interviews, project competitions, and then Dollywood again. So yes, lots of Dollywood. Tennessee 4-H loves Dollywood. So just the opportunities statewide are enormous, and it's so much fun.
So Claire, we've kind of peeled back some of the layers of 4-H, nationally and statewide, but at its core and probably the heart of a thriving 4-H is local. And just talk about that core local group that is so vital to 4-H, I guess, here in Warren, in this case Warren County, but throughout our whole viewing area.
Well, locally is where you make the most closest friendships, because you are with those people every single month. In Warren County, we have monthly meetings, and those meetings are about an hour long, and we address old business and new business. We talk about service projects, we brainstorm, and then we have a get-to-know-you activity or an icebreaker. And every single month, you feel closer to the people in your club than you were before. And you really get to bond with those people through service projects. And whether it's waking up in the morning to go to a race or a skill-a-thon and just assist with that in the rain and then realize that it got canceled. But you really just make friendships with these people that you would not with others, and you grow close in a different way.
Well, if you didn't pick up on it at the start, 4-H, I've just learned this today. It's pretty sad. Head, heart, hands, health. And that kind of sums up a lot of what we're talking about here with these ladies. We're going to talk more about that in our second segment here with Emily, Claire, and Caroline, as we're talking all things 4-H here on Table Talk. Back with more in just a minute.